We all have powerful beliefs about who we are, where we come from, and what the future holds for us. These stories shape our beliefs, values, and decisions, and they can either empower or limit us. For most of us, this is an unconscious process, and we seldom realize that we restrict our lives by the stories we tell ourselves. But to really thrive and to be truly free in life, we need to question these stories and transcend them. If you're done with playing small in your life and are ready to change the stories you tell for yourself, then this episode is for you. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Own Your Everyday series in the Being Miraculous podcast. I'm your host and self-awareness coach Shweta Shivraman, back with insights and micro practices you can use in your busy lives to own your everyday. In today's episode, we will look at the origins of stories we tell ourselves and walk through 4 steps we can use to rewire our beliefs and rewrite our stories. The stories we tell ourselves have a powerful hold on us. They consciously or unconsciously determine the course of our lives. What kind of spaces do we engage in, or people do we connect with? Who are we interacting with? What kind of experience do we seek or desire? What goals do we set for ourselves? How much do we push ourselves to live our fullest potential? All of these questions are determined by our stories. Before we go in any further, make sure to do these 2 things. 1. Tap into your awareness. Ask yourself, what are the most common stories you tell yourself? About yourself, about others, about the world. Start noticing the language of your current inner talk. What do you tell yourself in good times? And what do you tell yourself in difficult times? How does your identity or self-perception shift in difficult times? 2. Check how open you are to challenging those stories. As you reflect that, let me tell you the story of the empty cup. There was a learned scholar who came to a Zen master seeking knowledge. The master offered him tea, and he poured it into a cup until it overflowed, and he kept pouring and he kept pouring. The scholar was shocked. He exclaimed, "Stop, the cup is full." The master replied, "Like this cup, are you full of your own opinions and speculations? How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?" The stories we carry in our lives are similar to the brimming cup full of opinions, speculations, and assumptions. We may think we know everything there is to know about ourselves, others, and the world. But in reality, we only know what we have poured into our own cups. To truly learn and grow, we need to revisit what's in the cups of our stories and empty them frequently to be open to new experiences, perspectives, and insight. So now, here's hoping that your cup is a little less full than when we started. Let's dive into the origin of our stories. The stories we tell ourselves come from the beliefs we hold. Beliefs come from personal experiences, information gathered from books and other sources, value systems of people around us, and sometimes plain wild imagination. Our stories are also not just independent or personal narratives. They come from cultural and social references based on the key people we were surrounded by in our impressionable years. These beliefs are unique to us. That's why there are as many worldviews as there are humans. Our beliefs are influenced by our inherent tendencies, or vasanas as our scriptures call them, that we are born with. They are perspectives that come to us naturally, sometimes simply by birth. There's one universal thing though. Once they become beliefs, we never cross-verify them. So, in a way, they become the ultimate truth for us. There was a book I'd read a while ago that used the analogy of beliefs being the tabletop or the foundation on which our lives are constructed. The legs of the table of beliefs are the sources based on which we construct them. But over the years, we forget one crucial aspect about the beliefs. They are not necessarily facts. They could be misinterpretation or speculation. The tricky part is that we forget this crucial aspect while growing up. We forget that our beliefs aren't always the gospel of truth and allow them to unconsciously drive all our thoughts, emotions, and actions. What we must remember is that our stories are like references that we can either accept or reject, reinterpret or redefine. We have the power to choose which stories we want to live our life by and which ones we want to let go of. We can challenge the stories that restrict us and create new stories that empower us. To break down the beliefs, we need to attack the strength it derives from the legs of the table, the visible and the invisible forces that keep it upright. We need to examine the source of each belief and counter it with hard evidence. Once we shatter the misplaced beliefs, we need to replace them with an empowering one that allows us to walk into the future with ease and joy rather than constant burden of sadness we automatically carry with us as adults. Here are 4 steps to rewrite those beliefs. 1. Become aware of your beliefs. Start from the universal belief you hold. Complete sentences like life is, the world is, or I am. 2. Examine them. A closer look will reveal that we formed these beliefs in our formative years while we were still trying to get a grasp of life and living. Examine these beliefs in the light of the knowledge and wisdom you've gained today. How true are they? Are they still relevant? Do they continue to serve you? What could be possible for you in your life without these beliefs? 3. Counter them. Pick out those beliefs one by one, those that restrict you and your life choices. Confront those beliefs and objectively counter them with evidence from your personal experiences or people around you. Identify ways in which that belief has been disproven in your daily lives. Say you believe you're shy, introverted, and not outspoken. Can you find 1 or 2 instances where you comfortably stood your ground in front of a larger gathering? List them down. With the pieces of evidence in front of you, ask yourself again, are these beliefs still valid? 4. Consciously rewire them. The beliefs you're ready to let go of, reframe them. Consciously catch yourself when the old patterns automatically drive behaviors. Create a new narrative that aligns with your values and aspirations. Take time to integrate the subsequent positive feelings and results to reinforce them. Our lives are like gardens that are shaped by the seeds of what we plant and nurture. The stories we tell ourselves are like the seeds that grow into flowers or weeds, depending on how we tend to them. If we plant seeds of doubt, fear, limitation, we will harvest a garden of despair, anxiety, and frustration. But if we plant seeds of hope, courage, possibility, we will harvest that garden of joy, peace, and fulfillment. We can choose to cultivate our stories like a gardener who tends to their plants with care, attention, and intention. Nourish the stories that empower you and weed out the stories that restrict you. By simply doing this, we can create a garden of our true selves, our deepest values, and our highest aspirations. The choice is but ours. So there's your Own Your Everyday tip for this week. Challenge those stories you tell yourself. Examine the underlying beliefs that cement the narrative of the story and consciously reframe the beliefs that no longer serve you. Our lives are not determined by the stories we tell ourselves, but by the choices we make and the actions we take in each moment. We are what we nurture. So make sure to choose that which allows you to bring forth your truest and fullest expression to this world. Reflect on these 4 steps and rewrite those beliefs and stories. Drop a hello to me on LinkedIn or Instagram and tell me how it goes for you, or if you have any further questions. The top 3 stories are going to be featured in our Miraculous Beings podcast episode coming up soon. Signing off, hoping you have a phenomenal week ahead.